Hi, welcome to Learning Monkey. I am Vikram. In this class, we'll try to understand asynchronous data transfer using Strobe control mechanism. Before understanding asynchronous data transfer using Strobe control mechanism, we will try to understand what is meant by synchronous data transfer. So far, in our first section of this course, which is computer organization, we have covered about basic computer organization. In that basic computer organization, we have seen that all the components of the computer like registers, memory and CPU are in synchronization with the clock signal. Whenever the clock signal is generated, it may be a raising edge or a falling edge, whatever the clock signal that has been taken by the computer. So based upon that raising edge or falling edge, the data transfer will happen within the components of the computer. So let's try to recap that concept once again. For example, if we are having some resistors R1, R2, R3, and this is what we call it as our computer system. Along with that, we are R3. So these are the resistors and some memory units are there, and all these memory units and resistors are in synchronization with the clock signal. So whenever the clock is generated, the transfer from, so if you want to transfer the content of R1 which is connected to the bus, so all these components are connected to the bus. So whenever R1 want to transfer the data to R3, so whenever this transfer wants to happen on the computer, whenever the clock is generated, whenever the clock is in the raising edge, so then only the transfer will happen. So then only the resistor load will get activated, and the content of the R1 will get transferred onto the R2. So all the components of the computer are in synchronization with the clock signal. So this kind of data transfer among the components of the computer is what we call it as synchronous data transfer. So what is meant by asynchronous data transfer? Before that, so for example, if you want to connect some IO devices to this computer, if this is the computer, assume that this is our computer, to this computer we want to connect some IO devices. For example, if this is our IO device that we would like to connect, IO device, so this is an external device, this is not integral part of the computer. Externally some IO devices are connected. Now I want to connect the same clock to the IO devices. So what I am trying to say is, if this is the CPU and to this CPU some IO devices are connected, I want to use the same clock. If the clock that is being used by the CPU, I want to use the same clock to be transferred onto the IO devices, so that the data that is being transferred between the CPU and IO devices and CPU will be in synchronization with the same clock. Is it possible? No, because the clock that is being generated by the same clock has to travel some distance. So in order to maintain that synchronization, it has to travel some distance because the devices are external to the system. As these devices are internal to the system, so the clock will be under the synchronization for the data transfer among the devices. But if you take the IO devices, in order to maintain the synchronization, the clock has to travel some distance. With that the synchronization may not be possible. So how these systems will get communicated? These systems will transfer the data. So that kind of transfer is what we call it as. So there are different ways in which the transfer can be done. So if the clock is not, the main clock is not in synchronization with the IO devices, so that kind of transfer is what we call it as asynchronous data transfer. So in the asynchronous data transfer, the clock signals are independently maintained. So this point is very important to understand. So both are going to have the same frequency clocks, but they are independently maintained. The transfer from CPU to IO devices and IO devices to CPU devices is what we call it as asynchronous data transfer. But both are going to maintain the same clock frequency. So if this is the clock frequency, so the same clock frequency will be maintained in the IO devices also. So the complexity that we are going to get with this asynchronous data transfer is, while transferring the data, in the process of transferring the data, the IO device should know from where the data, for example, if this is the data that I am transmitting. So in this data, it should know this is the start of the data and this is the end of the data, from where to where it has to consider. So what data that has been transferred by the CPU. So how we are going to manage that kind of problems. So that kind of problems are managed in the asynchronous data transfer by using two methods. One of the method is strobe control and the other one is handshaking. In this video we will try to understand about strobe control. In the next coming videos we will try to understand about handshaking. Let's try to understand how the strobe control mechanism will be. So this is how the strobe control mechanism is. So here we call it as source and destination units. Source unit is what we call it as CPU. So and the destination unit is IO device. The destination unit is IO device. So what happens in this transfer of data from source device to destination device, or from destination device to source device, is the data bus is going to take the data that we want to transfer, and along with that we are going to have another signal line called strobe signal line. So what this strobe signal line is, so this is how the things will work. So this is the block diagram of the strobe control mechanism, and this is how the timing diagram will be. So whenever there is a valid data, so whenever the valid data starts at the source, whenever the valid data starts, the CPU is going to generate a strobe signal. A strobe signal means this pulse that is being generated is what we call it as a strobe signal until the end of the valid data. So till the end of the valid data, this strobe pulse will get generated. So whenever the strobe is received at the receiver end, whenever this strobe pulse is received, whenever this falling edge is received at the receiver end, so what the destination will understand is, so the valid data has been received. Unless it receives the falling edge of the strobe data, it does not consider it as valid data. It means what the destination will do is, whenever this falling edge is received at the destination, received at this point, the destination, the data that is coming from the data bus, will get stored into the registers of this destination unit, registers of this IO unit. So there the clock will be under the synchronization. So the clock speed at which the CPU is running with, so the same clock is used in the IO devices. So from there where the strobe signal has been generated, from where the falling edge of the strobe signal has been received by the destination, that data will be under the synchronization, will be synchronized with the clock speed of the IO devices. Means that data only will get stored onto the registers of the IO devices. So that is very important to understand. Okay, so this is how the synchronization between the IO device, this is one of the way in which we can bring the synchronization between the IO devices and the central processing unit, or the entire computer system. Okay, so this is the way, and this is how the destination unit will get communicate with the source unit. So what happens is, a strobe signal will get generated by the destination unit to the source unit. After that, in the same mechanism, the data bus, so the source is going to send the data to the destination. For example, if the destination wants to communicate with the source, if the destination wants some data to be transferred for it to get processed, so what happens is, the destination will send a strobe signal. So the strobe signal will be forwarded by the destination unit to the source unit. On receiving the strobe signal, what the source will do is it will send the data that is requested by the destination unit. So this is how the communication, asynchronous data transfer will happen by using the strobe control unit. But there is a problem with this kind of strobe control unit. So what is that problem? What is the problem that we are going to have is when to stop generating the signal. So whether the data is received at the destination unit or not. Is it known by using the strobe control mechanism? No, it is not. For example, if the data is being transferred and in the process of transferring the data, for example, if this destination is busy in processing some work and it does not care about this data that is being transferred, so that has been deleted, that is not being taken care of, so this data is vanished from the destination unit. But the source does not know that this data, the source is under the assumption that, so what the source will do is this signal will continuously generated for a specific period of time. So until that period of time the signal will be continuously generated. So after that specific period of time it will delete all the things, the source, thinking that the destination has received all the content that is being transferred, but it has not been transferred. So this acknowledgement is not provided in the strobe control mechanism. So this acknowledgement is provided in our next mechanism, is what we call it as a handshaking mechanism. In our next video we will try to understand about that handshaking mechanism. Hope you got the clarity on this concept. Thanks for watching. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, please subscribe to our channel and press bell icon for the latest updates. And if you have any doubts regarding this concept, please post your doubt in the comment section below. And if you feel that this video is helpful to you, please give us a like symbol and please share this video with your friends so that they will also get benefited. Thanks for watching.